afternoon and welcome to Fast Horses Today for Sunday. Today is July 28th. A little bit of a late version here of the show. I got a late pick 5 that I want to talk about here at Del Mar. This is in the 7th race, so we got a approximate post time about 7 o'clock Central Time, so about 5 o'clock Pacific. So we've got about an hour and 50 minutes before that race starts. You got some chances to give that a look and get your bets in. So the 7th race is a maiden special weight. It's a Calbred maiden special weight, around 2 turns on the grass at a mile. And I got 2 horses here that I want to get this pick 5 started with. So first I've got the 7 horse, who is Fight Back. Fight Back is out of the Simon Callahan barn. Now Callahan came to life yesterday and won the last race and made somebody a really, really happy person. I think they were the only winner of the pick 6. So Simon Callahan ended up getting it done. This horse has one start, run kind of an even race over at Santa Anita at a mile on the grass. You know, same distance, same class as this. And, maybe the second race back for this horse, Fight Back, could make this horse live. Then I've got the 12 horse, who is High Plains Drifter. Now, High Plains Drifter, Kent DeSormo on the horse. This horse comes out of the Francisco Garcia barn. And if you're not familiar with Francisco Garcia, which I was not familiar with him, I see this was trained by Mike Pipey. I guess Pipey got pinched for something and must be serving a suspension, so this must be his assistant. So this is kind of like out of the Mike Pipey barn, but it's listed as Francisco Garcia. So I like High Plains Drifter. He's the 12 horse, 6-1. Kent DeSormo on the horse. So I'm just hoping that Kent DeSormo showed up to ride today, because if he did, this horse showed a couple nice runs twice. Kent DeSormo rode the horse both times. Last year, back in January of 23, it was June of 23. So it was just over a year ago. This horse came out first time at Santa Anita in a 6-furlong grass race. You know, just kind of broke out, was stalking, ended up coming third. Ran a nice race, and apparently something must have happened because we didn't see this horse until a year later. This horse just came back and ran this past June, so about 6-7 weeks ago. Ran at Santa Anita, kind of ran a similar race where, the money was on this horse. Horse ended up being the favorite at about 3-1. And I thought DeSormo rode the horse pretty well. Came on, ended up running 4th. I think this horse does want to run long. Seems to be like this horse is not a sprinter, but wants to run long. So I think if Kent DeSormo shows up to the jocks room with his head on straight, we might be seeing Kent DeSormo storm past his field and posing, standing up before the wire like he usually loves to do. So I do have High Plains Drifter. I've also got a win bet on High Plains Drifter. Now let's move over to the 8th race. 8th race is a mile of $40,000 maiden claimer. This race, there's a lot of horses here that were big purchases that just, aren't going to deliver to what they were expected, and they're putting them in for 40. I've got 2 horses here that I want to put in to try to get this pick 5 moved along. I've got the 6 horse, who is Mongolian Champ. Now, Mongolian Champ gets an apprentice rider on him, Orontes, so 7-pound weight break on this horse. Now, I'm going to take this horse because I think they might go fast early. And, we've seen the speed doing well on these 2-turn races, but maybe these horses just aren't good enough to make that happen. That's when you do see some closers. So I think Mongolian Champ, for this outfit here, the Mongolian Stables, Anish Ganbat, they always have their horses ready to run late. Their horses always can run a distance. Seems to be that's how they train their horses. So this horse might be storming home late. Then I also have the 9 horse, was Pelagio, for Paula Gary and Armando Ayuso on the horse. So Paula Gary claimed this horse off of John Sheriff's earlier this year. This horse had been a pretty big purchase and was owned by Jerry Moss. Now, the late Jerry Moss. So, I don't know if they were dispersing horses after Moss passed away, but this horse did go into a 50,000 claimer, and Gary claimed him. Now, the horse has run pretty well since he got into the Gary barn. Just run some even races, and I think this horse might have found his friends today. 3-1 is one of the selections here, and I do have the 9 horse, who is Pelagio. All right, now let's move over to the next race. The next race is the Eddie Reed, and the Eddie Reed is always the big turf race over at Del Mar. It's a grade 2 now. It used to be always a grade 1, but the Eddie Reed's at a 1.125 miles on the grass and a $250,000 purse. And there, ends up being a pretty nice field of horses assembled here. We've got a horse that's shipped in from the East Coast with Richard Dutrow. That's Masterpiece. I don't have the horse here. I do have 3 horses here. They're all going to be Phil D'Amato horses, and then I do have a win bet on one of the horses as well. So I've got Gold Phoenix, who's the 3 horse out of the D'Amato barn. This horse has a pretty good record over at Del Mar and actually won the Eddie Reed last year. So, defending champ, came back and ran a couple even races this year at Santa Anita. Ended up winning the Charlie Whittingham at a little longer distance. So the horse loves Del Mar, won the Eddie Reed, is 6-1 today with Kyle Frey. Kyle Frey's been doing a lot right everywhere, and he is doing a lot right on the turf. So, certainly a factor here for the Phil D'Amato barn. Then I'm going to go with the 4 horse, who is Easter, who also has out of the Phil D'Amato barn, and Antonio Fresu takes the call. I'm also going to make a win bet on Easter. So I played Easter his last 2 times in Santa Anita. He ran in the Kilroe Mile, got beat by Dujour, who's in this race, and I also played him in the Shoemaker Mile, Grade 1, got beat by Johannes. And watching those races, it just looks to me like a mile is not what this horse wants to do. This horse, if you look at the film in his last race, this horse was just way back. Fresu gave this horse way too much to do, swung him wide, and ended up passing a good part of the field, but finished 4th. Johannes was already gone by that point. So I just don't think this horse wants to run a mile, and horses also were not coming from that far back at Santa Anita. So I think Del Mar, where this horse does have a win in the Seabiscuit last fall, which the Seabiscuit is always a really good race. It's a Grade 2. It's at a mile and a 16th. This horse ran a huge race to win the Seabiscuit. I think this horse gets in the winner's circle again today. I got Easter at 4-1. But then also for pick 5 purposes, I'm going to put the 5 horse, was Belnikov for Phil D'Amato. Belnikov, shows a pretty good record. Win out of 5 starts at Del Mar, a 2nd and a 3rd. So this horse is always a good performer, has been performing for the D'Amato barn for a few years now. Gets Kazushi Kimura. Kimura's been riding pretty well lately, winning some races on the dirt and the turf. So, these Phil D'Amato horses have been very dangerous on turf. So I'm going to put the 3 D'Amatos, the 3, 4, and 5, and I'm make a win bet on Easter. All right, now let's go to the next race. Next race is the 10th race. It's a 40,000 claimer, 6.5 on the dirt. Didn't have a very strong opinion of this, so I put 4 horses here. I put the 1 horse, who was Anna's Wish. It's coming in for Jeff Bondy. Jeff Bondy acquired this horse from trainer George Weaver, who was running this horse out east in Aqueduct. So not a strong field here, so maybe this New York form. This horse has shown some nice races in New York. Will hold up over at Del Mar. Horse is 7-2 in the program with Edwin Maldonado. Looks like the horse shows speed, so there's probably one way to go with this horse, with Anna's Wish. Then I'm going to put the 7 horse, who is Nazir Dalton. Nazir Dalton comes out of the Steve Miotti barn. Now, Miotti's had this horse now. The horse has run 3 times, has a win in his 3 starts. Calbred, the horse broke his maiden first time out, which is always a pretty nice thing. I thought the horse ran a pretty decent race to break his maiden. And, like I said, I didn't think this was too strong of a field here. So, I think Nazir Dalton does have a shot here, 6-1. Armando Aguilar, maybe he gets off the schneid here and gets himself a win. Then I'm going to put the 9 horse, was Rose of Jericho for the Steve Sherman barn. Steve Sherman brings his horse down from Northern California. I've been running in starter allowance races and won a couple at Golden Gate. We'll see how those races translate. The horse ended up running his last time at Pleasanton, so got some dirt experience there. Armando Ayuso takes over. Horse is 9-2. Could be a factor here in a field that's, not too strong of a field. And then I'm finally going to put in the 12, who is We'll Do It Live. This horse comes out of Steve Knapp's barn. Steve Knapp claimed this horse last time. And, Knapp, he claimed him off of Bondy. Knapp has done some nice work with his first claim. So, horse had run 1 time at Del Mar. This was last year. Didn't really do much. But that was a maiden special weight. Ended up running with Chattelis. So Chattelis ended up being one of the nicer 2-year-old fillies, in California. So I would forgive that and, give this horse a shot in a 40,000 claimer. Kyle Frey rides. As I mentioned, Frey's been riding outstanding. And, he's very dangerous. Certainly, can get it done here at 6-1 with We'll Do It Live. So that's the 1, 7, 9, and 12. All right, now let's go to the last race of the day. Last race of the day is a Calbred, mile on the grass, first level allowance. And, I thought this was a very, very just wide open field. I put 5 horses in here just looking to catch a price, hopefully. I've got the 1 horse who was Court Snort for Leonard Powell. Horses run well on turf. Certainly a factor, has a win to his credit at Del Mar. So, Rispoli riding the horse from the 1 hole should work out a nice trip, and he's always dangerous in the stretch. I'm going to put the 2 horse Run a Mile in My Shoes for Jeff Mullins. Now, this was one of the horses back at the Santa Anita meet who probably disappointed a lot of people. Horse always looked like he was ready to, or she was ready to break her maiden, and was a favorite many times and disappointed. But then put it all together. Hernandez kind of put the horse a little bit more forward in the race and took the lead and just tried to run the rest of the field off their feet, which ended up working out there. So maybe they'll try those tactics again. Certainly, we've seen the speed and the horses that have been close up have done well at Del Mar. This horse is 2-1 with Hernandez, so certainly a factor. I'm going to put the 4 horse in Ashley Sandcastle. Ashley Sandcastle, kind of similar profile to the 2 horse, where this horse took a long time to break her maiden. Had disappointed some folks. Getting bet on. It's just a matter of, maybe Freysu has the keys to this because it's a jock switch now. D'Amato puts Freysu on. So maybe Freysu gives this horse a good ride. 8-1 in the program. Certainly worth a shot. Then the 7 horse was Jesse Bear. Jesse Bear for Agui Ordonez. Jose Valdivia on the horse. Now, this horse has a similar profile to the previous 2 I mentioned. Horse took a bit to break her maiden, and ended up running a pretty decent race in her last with winners. Ended up coming 3rd, but got pushed up to 2nd because of a DQ. Hay Demps was DQ'd out of 2nd, and so this horse ended up getting placed 2nd. So, certainly a factor here in what I think is a wide open race. That would be the 7, who is Jesse Bear at 8-1. And then finally the 9 horse. 9 horse is the favorite. This is Moment's Pleasure for Craig Lewis and Hector Barrios. Now, Hector, was the guy who did break the maiden on this horse. And, last time it was Juan Hernandez had the horse. He ended up losing by a nose, or, pretty much on the wire. So I'm sure this horse will end up getting overbet, 5-2 in the program. But as we've seen with this level of Calbreds, these fillies, they've all kind of disappointed and run poor races and took turns and getting their maidens broken. So that's why I feel like it's open, and that's why I put the 5 horses in the race, for the pick 5. All right, so let's recap here. All right, so recap the 7th race, the pick 5. I've got 7-12 with 6-9 with 3-4-5 with 1-7-9-12 with 1-2-4-7-9. Now this ticket comes out to be $120, which I'm going to take a shot with. Now, if it's your speed, if you like the amount, you want to make that choice, please do so. If you want to add or subtract, do what fits you. Or if you want to play the pick 3s within this or play the pick 4 within this, you've got to do what fits you best here. I've also got win bets in the 7th race on the 12, the 8th race, that's the 9, and then the 9th race, that's the 4. That's in the Eddie Reed with the Phil D'Amato horse there. So as always, I wish you the best of luck. Let's get some good trips, and let's see some good, safe racing at Del Mar. As always, I ask you to please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything, but gets you on the queue, and then you're able to get the new content in your feed. Like, dislike, make comments. I promise to respond to all of them. And thank you so much for watching.